liberty, and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started, a couple things I wanna tell you. Numbers are not good. I'm gonna do the best I can do at the moment. We just started in the reconciliation of the current year we're in, so these numbers are changing. Yesterday I had put numbers in and later in the day they were gone. Trying to do the bank racks and the deposits ain't showing up, and the state taxes ain't showing up. So we got some issues still. But when I talked to Joe from the auditors yesterday, just like he said, when we finally get this done and over with, we'll have good numbers to start from right in the new chart of accounts. So everything will fall in together once we get through this audit, which has been a nightmare, just saying. So, this morning, Hope gave me her revenues the other day, so being off 10 days, I was slow. So we did update the revenue side, so if you'd all, the very first page, y'all check that over. Hope and I were discussing, what was oil royalties? I didn't put anything in there at the moment. It's down towards the middle-ish. You see there's a big fat zero in there.
668.
We'll keep it at the 7,000 at the moment.
Yeah,
We have in the system, it shows that it had, $21,000 deposit at one time. I've been searching it this morning, I can't find it, I asked Hope to find it to see if it actually was an oil royalty or put in the wrong spot. It's not in the system at all for 21,000, so
yeah.
we're gonna leave that at 7, but I didn't put nothing in there until I researched it because it shows
Yeah, 'cause
26,000.
if we do a report here, on the report, it's showing that they deposited something. Well, the royal, it's never been that high for a check that we get each month. And, yeah, it was, so I don't know. And then if you look in general ledger, it wasn't posted in general, we can't find it in general
Didn't
ledger.
ledger nowhere.
So,
That's just one I still have
Yeah.
to research.
and then,
On July 1st or something, wasn't it?
yeah,
Another one of them, I don't know.
so we're not understanding that one.
So that's why I left that one at 7.
But we do get one, but we're just, until we do some more investigation, yeah, let's keep it at the 7.
Exactly, because
Because,
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
that's right,
Anything on there that you're questioning?
We can't, on that, we can't go back any other years on those and find anything on that.
the one,
The deposit for the oil royalties in the past
that's
years,
what we were looking,
and we haven't found anything yet. Okay,
yeah,
No, just what you see on the paper.
yeah,
and we'll have to look more into that
And just like I
anyway.
said, these numbers ain't,
We're not gonna
they
be,
change every day, so. It's really hard to do a moving budget.
yeah,
Just saying. Now, on your revenues, if you look, I want to, we can't do it in this, but I wanna discuss it, the transfer site. All of them prices have gone through the roof. I looked back. It hasn't been raised since 2018. We went from the $42 to the $45 in 2018. But the recycling, dumping, everything has increased. And I don't wanna shortchange us. I would like to see us increase the transfer station from 45 to the 50. It hasn't been raised in 7 years. Discussion?
No, I think it's a good idea.
but how short are we still gonna fall on it? What, okay, what's our revenue at $50?
68. Okay, it was right here. Right now, we're getting 57,465. And the other one is, where the heck did it go? Just had it on top. Somewhere I have it, hold on. Anyone got a calculator?
How many pieces of property? Improved.
1278.
78 times 50, so that's 634.
Times one, 58,
What?
what was it?
What'd you say, 12
1278.
times 50?
Times 639,
Excuse me?
639,
6,039.
Yep, 6,669. I'm not good at that.
Oh.
And what do I have on here? 63.
63,000.
And you have 63.
Yeah, so that, I put that in, we have to vote on it to do it, but if you look on your revenue, I already increased it to 63.
Yep.
Just so you could see the difference.
Okay, do we have a cost of what it cost us? Previous years, what, around?
Transfer sites?
Yeah,
Do you remember the numbers in the budget? They're
Yeah.
not right, I'm not.
right, exactly, okay, so we
We
have,
haven't researched that yet
okay,
because it's a nightmare.
yeah,
If you look, I think in the transfer site, we've only paid out like 12,000 this year.
yeah, they, for some reason, they didn't put it in the right place.
It's, yeah, it's all screwed up, so I'm not sure which way to go on that.
Okay,
But that's what I did. We'll have to vote on it if you wanna do that. You're all in agreement, not in agreement?
I mean, I think we have to,
We do.
Well, I think we have to up it because
Yeah.
also we're bringing in dumpster, instead of doing a 1-day cleanup, we're bringing them.
Right, and it's actually cheaper with the dumpsters than it was
Yeah.
the one-day cleanup, so.
This $5 household extra, be enough to cover those and continue into the next
I believe so, because it's hard to tell, because
other price.
right now I
increase.
don't have it.
Mhm.
Transfer site's a mess still. The numbers, we haven't gotten that far.
I know.
It's crazy, cause you know, I'm just doing this year's current bank reconciliations, cause they made us stop after we got to June 30th of 24 to do the audit. So they had to wait, we had to wait for all that. Well, like last week, or this week, Tuesday, when I called the auditors, I'm like, I need to work on the budget and I can't work on the budget if I ain't got bank reconciliations. The numbers ain't good, so we're gonna have to build it on what we got and pray. So anyway, that was my suggestion, to raise that to 50. We can look if it's, when we get the numbers right, and look and see if 50 will cover it. If not, we may have to increase it from there, but
right,
that still has to be voted on next meeting anyway.
okay, yeah, let's bring it up there.
So then I got time to
Yep.
research it. Cause of, extra sticker price went from 3 to 5, and I think that's still good. And if, people with no houses, property, if
Right.
they want a dump sticker, they come in and pay the full price. And then the next year it gets added to their taxes.
Excuse me, what is the full price for a non-resident?
45 still the same.
Okay, I didn't know, but that's per year?
Yes,
Thank you.
so and we've got, I think, 4 or 5 of them now that have done that, but we had one a couple weeks ago come in and do the same thing. So, they can do that. But the $12.78 that we charge for them are with houses, improved. Alright, move on to the next page. Anything else on the revenue? and all these empty lines and stuff will be coming out, this will be cleaned up like you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, all this, is these coming
Yes,
out?
and when we were talking to Jill and I, had me in there yesterday.
Because there's a lot of these that's not even,
Right, they're
there's
inactive.
nothing in them,
Right.
and they are not.
It wouldn't even let me put money into zoning. If you look on the second page, right there, the zoning
Mm-hmm.
permits, it let me put the 500 in, but it would not let me put any zoning revenue. Cause it said it was an inactive line.
Okay.
And like I said, when we, with the new chart of accounts that we're building, it will be separated, planning, zoning,
Yeah.
and zoning administrator. So they'll all be split up instead of planning / zoning, and it's a
Yeah,
nightmare.
it's all together, yeah,
So that is one of the things that's on the list that we broke up.
okay.
But again, that wouldn't let me do in there, cause it said it was inactive. Township board. There's a whole lot messed up in here, if you can't tell. The insurance line is, like crazy. I don't know. Because with the 69,000 that it shows in activity, everything went in there. From health insurance to vision, dental, every single thing went in there at that 69. So I'm still trying to fix that. It has to increase, cause I think we paid 30,000 for the overhead that's supposed to come out of that line. So I think that insurance line needs to be, I would say 32, cause it'll probably increase a little bit next year as well, like they always do, but. Do you know, see what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
It's open, I didn't get the lines in there this time.
Yeah.
So
So,
was so I'm assuming everything, like you said, dental, vision, everything was coming out of that line
yeah, and it shouldn't have
for
been,
pay.
yeah, that's why it says
And
69,000.
we are gonna start doing a separate
Yes, that'll all be
dental,
broke
vision.
out.
Yeah,
breaking up, okay.
Yep, that's all getting separated.
Was there any other insurance, like was it accidentally like building insurance or
Everything
something?
went in there. That's what it's supposed to be, is the building insurance.
Right,
This is gonna be separated too, the township board stuff.
okay,
Because another suggestion I have is adding the, education and classes and stuff all to this section, the township board, and not in our individual departments. So you take, you have 1,000, you have 1,000, you have 1,000, we'll make it 1 for 5,000 and then take them out of, you know what I'm saying? So it will be under one, under township board, instead of splitting it up. And cell phones will go off there. Postage, see, I didn't put any numbers in here, but it didn't print the lines for me, I'm sorry. Postage is up, cause postage went way up.
okay, why is there a cell phone?
We used to have cell phones, Greg made Sharon and I have cell phones, we used to have to do that.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
okay, and we don't now?
No.
And we keep getting rid of that,
Mhm.
okay.
So postage, last year's budget was 1,500, and in it, we've spent 19. So I would like to put the postage at 2,000. Cause we're gonna have more mailings and stuff with the zoning and all that stuff.
You have 2,000 in the assessing department.
That's a different,
That's a
Department.
different postage?
That's for the assessor,
Well, you just said you were gonna use it for zoning, isn't that,
That's
That's
totally
his-
different.
all right,
each department has postage in it, cause like the assessor sends out the assessing records, the zoning, we have the, rewrites, so there will be more.
okay, thank you.
So again, I would like to put 2,000 in there at the postage. Water testing is $30 quarterly. And then this one, I need your help with, Steve, before you leave. Not today, but before you leave town. So that should still stay 200.
Okay.
I have to get the water from the well head.
Mhm.
Do you know how? Cause this one has to be for the,
Right, you
Sorry,
can't go
but-
through the departments, yeah.
I have to do that once a year and it's this quarter.
How deep is this?
Well, I don't know. I don't know nothing about the well.
Yeah.
Is that the head out here outside the door?
Yes, but what they gotta do is actually lift up on that pipe all the way up
Okay,
and get that disc, do your pitless adapter, unscrew, loosen that and pull that pipe up to get it right out of there. So depending on the depth of that, whether a couple guys can lift that up and do it, I don't know, we'd have to check and see the depth.
yeah, okay.
Cause you got the pump on the bottom.
Yeah. And she come in to vote, the lady from Raven, she lives in Beaver Creek. She's like, oh, I don't vote today, cause she's at Crawford School, but she's like, Kim, don't forget your, I said, I know. But anyway, printing and publishing, last year's budget was $12.50. We've up to 13 right now, and I want to up it even more. I would like to do 15 to 2,000, because again, you got all the crap.
Let's put 2,000 in there.
Okay. Computer support, where's Jill? That would be BSNA for the year, IT rate for the year, or Anavon. Have any ideas?
For the year,
We'll write that on your list and.
I know we've got still some coming.
And I'm not sure if, right, how much of this is right and how much is wrong. Last year's amended
Right.
budget is 14,675. This year, we've already got 23 in there, but that is also, I think the,
Well, that would be for the backup or the
the server and everything are on there.
everything would,
So it won't be as high next year?
Well, yeah, cause we had about a dozen times for computer support for the BSNA and.
Right in the beginning, we were,
Yeah,
we
so
had,
it may not even be,
right, but this is
Next
just your yearly,
Right.
annual dues. So let's put that at 15, and then I will adjust it if Jill tells me it's higher. Agree?
agree,
This has miscellaneous, I hate miscellaneous.
yeah, I was
like
gonna
to
say.
scratch miscellaneous,
Mhm.
I just don't like it. I'm one of them. Membership dues. I think what the problem here is, cause they're usually 1,200 is right around good, cause if you look at activity in 23-24, it's 1,000. But for some reason, we have 26 in there now, 2,600. But I think that's a double. So I think I would still like to keep that at 1,200 unless we find out different. That's another thing, Jill, will you look into? Cause that's also your, MTA. NEMCOG. And don't you have to do the
the
clerks
clerk one.
annually?
Mhm.
And check on all of them and let me know what the total is, so if I can adjust that.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am. We don't have any roads?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the road line?
I have no idea, and there was activity in it.
There's nothing,
We don't have a contractor or road yet.
Would you know, Steve, what that's for?
I mean, other townships, they have private roads, they collect tax on it,
Self
we
drainage.
don't.
yeah,
We
so
don't, so we can
we
get,
don't have that, right?
that can come on.
Computer hardware. Oh my god, that number's almost identical to the membership dues. I had to look twice, cause I thought it was, it's $10 off, do you see it?
Mhm.
What'd you say?
Computer hardware,
No, that's software, right?
I'm on hardware, the one above it.
What is the 3,100 and 600?
There you go, I'm on the wrong line.
It's only computer hardware back in 2023-24 was
How come there's
3,000.
nothing there?
Mm.
Because that's where the programs go.
Yeah,
We just got the new ones for our computers for the upgrade on Microsoft 365
hardware,
or
yeah.
whatever. Wouldn't that be under hardware? I don't know that we need anything this year.
Hardware, software, and support's all in one.
Right,
Mhm.
why don't we do that?
I mean, that would make more sense.
Right, make it one line instead of two, hardware and software programming, cause it's all the programming, either way you look at it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, it's strange, that's $10 difference between those two.
I know, exactly, $10
know.
is weird.
where'd you get, see $10?
Look at membership dues,
Yeah,
under 24-25 actual, see it? 26.8,
That under there and that under there.
so you go to the next row down that has a number in activity,
That's 85, that's 74.
oh, well, cause that's for,
right, but they're only $10 difference, cents and all.
oh,
I had
That
to
is
look
weird.
twice. So computer hardware, software, programming,
I see what you're saying now, yeah, that's,
between the two, it's 1,600. I would like to go to 2,000 just to be safe, but I don't think we have anything really this year that's
Right.
gonna,
I don't think so.
not unless something breaks or goes to hell, but
put them together and
Yeah.
then, yeah,
combine them and then put 2,000 in there. Y'all good with that? Alright, trustee wages. We went through all this, are we changing anything?
On the trustees,
Yes,
I don't think so.
No, I agree with Steve.
that's where I'm at. I think we did every department before, right?
yeah,
Um,
we did all the,
Terry come to me last week or the week before when I was, the last day I was here. I wasn't really with it. And she was upset about the deputy hours for the clerk. How we did it was 10 hours a week, it's $17 an hour. And it was 8,800 and something, so we went to 10 for both. Because Tracy works usually 2 days a week and Terry usually works 2 days a week, but Terry said she's starting to work 3 days a week.
She works 2 and 3.
Right,
She'll be doing 3 and 3.
so if that deputy clerk wages will have to go up. And at 3 days a week, will you figure that out? I don't think I did. I think it was 15.
I think 56 and 18 to 5. So it'd be 18.
I'm not going to 18.
You're not getting 18?
You're not giving,
No, 18 hours,
right,
not 18,000. That's not what it's.
times 17.
Yeah, times the year.
Yeah.
So it's 15,900.
15 then?
Mm.
There's no elections, no nothing that, the additive, but that would go under the election.
Right,
Anything else in there that you're
mine.
staying there?
What do you wanna go up to?
Back up to 32
2 months raise.
Can I ask you a question?
for the.
An honest question.
Mhm.
Do you think you deserve 3,000 more than me and Hope?
No, I just think we all should go up.
Oh, I'm not doing that. Anybody else want raises?
No, I think we're good.
You wanna go to 32? 33?
No, 32, would it be
32.
that way the rest of the term? I mean, I have put it in there.
I don't have a problem with that.
I just think if we do it now, because of, you won't get one until next year, next budget.
Next budget.
That's a year and a half. And what's the percentage rate though? Is it 3% this year for,
2.5.
2.5.
so 2.5,
That cost of living is 2.5.
Yeah.
So figure that in. 30,000 times 2.5.
Was it 0 point?
0.025.
Yeah. $7,500.
750.
That's 7,500 figure, right?
I got 750.
10% would be $3,000.
So I did the decimal wrong.
Mm-hmm.
you got what, hun?
750.
So 750 extra, or on top of our,
That's a cost of living increase. I'm not good with anything, just saying, so you guys hash it out.
You know, I feel very fortunate we were able to give all of our township employees raises, they cost of living raises, so they can hopefully pay their bills and whatnot. But I think we make adequate money, I honestly do. Just saying.
I want a raise. Cause we've worked our butts off, and I do, and our office is still not done.
So what?
And I do not wanna wait for a year and a half, because we always do, every year, every board does a cost of living. I at least want a cost of living raise. Yeah,
Are you all in agreement?
and usually that's what they do, is a cost of living raise. And I'm agreeing with the cost of living raise for me.
At least, yeah.
Cost of living for trustees, 42.
Hold on.
No, I don't want.
If we do the cost of living, it has to go straight across the board.
Well, Steve and I feel like we do our fair share, we make a fair wage and we're good.
It
Across
doesn't
the
matter,
board.
it has to go across the board
Listen to
for
me.
cost of living.
If we're doing a cost of living increase, it has to be the whole board. It looks like we're
You can't,
picking on you two,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
not
can't.
doing that. It's
We don't
either,
feel- I don't feel like we're being picked on, do you?
No. I mean,
well, somebody else say,
I really don't care.
those people
I'm the
got
trustee in the
raises and
chair.
I didn't.
I'm the trustee and the chair, he is too, and that's how we feel.
It'll be a 5-member vote when we do it.
I know.
So you guys want to do the cost of living
I
at
think so.
750?
I think that's fair enough.
So ours will be 3750, correct?
30,750.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now what's a
Mine's not
trustee's?
doing it, mine's not working right, so
Mary?
do your. Cause mine keeps adding zeros.
Okay, so what are we doing with this? Cause I'm really not paying attention to what you're typing.
4,200 times 0.25.
1,050.
Yeah, that's way off.
That's,
So it would be, yeah, see, that's what mine was saying, cause
Yeah,
it just,
that's
it's
fine.
not, it's not
Yeah,
doing,
$105.
Right, 105,
yeah, it'd be 100.
so it's.
So
it's- yeah, it's like
43.
15 somewhere, it should've-
5?
Cause 10% would
Either
be
that or you're
400.
seeing the decimal
yeah.
in the comma, and the comma does look like a decimal in my calculator.
That is true.
Okay.
So they will go to 4305. That's another one I have to vote on, same as the transfer site, in next meeting when we do the wage.
I got a question with Jill, with her deputy. Jill's not gonna like me. I say we take it to 13, but not 15.
But then I'm not gonna have.
Because she doesn't have to be here 3 days a week. After you get going.
Some weeks she's only here 2, some weeks she's here 3.
Yeah,
It's
Right,
advanced,
2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3,
right,
but she's gonna start coming at
right.
3, is there?
because
How many hours a day does she work?
At the
4
church,
to 5.
what about the over to the fire department? Is she on full-time over there? Is she working 40 hours a
She'll
week?
still be doing her full time there.
So
yeah,
how is she gonna work 3 days here a week?
It's on paper, she's got it all.
I mean, I'm not
She'll
saying
still
we
do
can't give
her-
extra because of like, you know, elections or whatever coming. But I think 15's a little extreme.
Anybody else?
But that's because it was.
And that's nothing against Terry, it's just,
No, and that's what I tried explaining to her last week.
it's nothing
I
against
didn't-
her, it's just,
I just punched numbers.
yeah. I mean, I would go, cause you're getting an extra 3,000. And an extra 3,000, because if she works 2 days, then it'll still balance in that range.
And in worst case scenario, we have to do amendment down the road.
But you might not even have to, because if you have extra in your others, you know what I'm saying?
Right, it's your whole department. It
Yeah,
isn't
it's your
that
whole
one.
department.
Well,
Mary, your opinion, 13.
Because it's just like me with taxes, you have there's no more elections this year.
I would go 13 with the possibility, if, like during tax season, whatever.
Well, that's ain't for
You
me.
know,
it's not.
Well, I'm just
This
saying,
is-
you guys, your
Right.
offices run pretty much together.
Right,
So if you need those extra hours during those seasons, leave that option available, but on average, I go
because
13.
that's 10,000 going right up to 5,000. 13, I get 13, because it's your whole department. If you don't, like, certain education training, you don't use it or all your, you know, there's money in there.
Right. I think 13 is fair.
I think 13's fair.
Steve?
I mean, we're increasing them by more than half,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I figured 13 is more
Well, actually,
fair.
it came down from,
They had 18.6, but they were salaried and they were here every day. We're going by the hour, that's why it changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because if you do it by the hour, 10 hours a week.
I mean, obviously, we can always amend the budget, so.
Exactly, and it's gonna need a lot of amending down the road, I'm just
right,
saying.
and I just say we go 13,
I agree.
because
We
we
can
just,
amend it if
I
she
mean,
gets
we did
called.
an increase of a raise for ourselves, oh my word, I can't even think what we just did.
Cost of living.
Yeah, that way, that brings that down a little for
I
what
don't-
we're,
I'm good with that.
and 13, I think it's reasonable, and you're gonna find out, you're probably not gonna use it all. I'm just
Exactly right.
telling you.
Okay, let's move down. We're never gonna get through this. We got most of it anyway, but, audit. It says that we have, spent 12,464 in audit, and I don't know how.
What page you on?
Same one.
Right
It's
under
clerk, right under clerk. Sorry, I just went down on
223.
clerk.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
I'll
for
get
tw-
back.
For 2024, 25,
Yeah, we're doing the audit now.
Yeah,
So how is there 12,000 in there spent
Is it from the planet, is it being taken out of that?
for the accounting is what I'm guessing,
Yeah,
for Planet Moran, but I don't know.
I think
It's
it's
the only
coming out
thing
of
it
that
can
line.
go. So I put 10,000 in there, but I don't know what the budget's supposed to cost or nothing, because it's a mess and they're coming for a whole week to sit here to try to figure all this out, so I don't know what to put in there.
I'll look and see what we've done already.
I've got 10, I'm like to, add another line underneath it and put accountant for another 10.
Yeah, because I think that's
We
what's
just got a
happening.
bill from Planet Moran for $4,000.
Yeah, well, I think what's happening, because then also you gotta understand,
Yeah. 'Cause of
we're
the-
gonna have our half budget, or our half audit too coming up.
They're gonna do
Yeah.
work on it all at
So
the
right
same
after we
time.
do this, we have another one.
In the F-65, all of those will be done.
That should have been done.
Right, cause we're behind.
But they didn't have an audit done.
No, they
No, that's what I'm saying, what
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
$12,000 for?
Right, exactly.
Their last audit was 8,000 in 23-24.
Okay.
Or well, we're doing that
No,
up.
that ain't either, because that
Yeah,
has to be,
we're doing it. 23.
right, cause we're doing it now, 23-24.
Yeah, because they're even going
So
back to
I'm guessing
22.
this is Planet Moran charges in there, on both of them.
That's what I'm thinking.
We'll have to check into that and see.
Yeah, so, but underneath audit, I would like to do accounting. Soon as we get all of this taken care of, that line will go away, cause we won't need one. But I would like to do 10 in each at the moment. Audit and accounting. And see where we're at on that. And Jill, you check into those.
I've already got it.
Board of review, we increased those, we were going to increase those wages. Right?
We
Board of
already
review,
did all that.
We gotta vote on it, it's still on my sheet to vote
Ah.
on, cause we raised them from 80 to 100 for the day, and it was 50 for the half.
I thought that was election.
Board of review. It was board of review.
I swear that was election.
So I need to
Maybe.
get that number.
Maybe it was one. Yeah.
It was, cause their numbers hadn't increased in a long time.
Right,
Cause there were 80 for the day and whatever for a half.
right.
So that's on the thing too.
So it's 1,000 for their wages, or,
At the moment,
okay.
I
Yeah, I
gotta
thought
double
we did
check with.
1,200, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it was April.
Yeah, 1,200. For all of them.
Treasurer, you're good with the 10,000 in the deputy?
Yeah, I'm good with 10,000.
Election, we'll just say election and not election board when it's all said and done. And we got 5,000 in there for wages for this year, and we won't need them, but it's there. Same with supplies and mileage and education, cause there could be education. Then hall and grounds, we went through that last time, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we're done now, right? I've got,
We already did election board too, didn't we?
yeah, we did all those.
It looks like that line,
Yeah, cause
oh, we
planning,
gotta take that.
planning and zoning will be split up in that department.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Under the township hall building and grounds, you have the cleaning wages, you have wages, and you have secretary wages. What are the wages if they're not secretary wages or cleaning wages?
Maintenance,
Isn't that the cleaning wages?
no, cleaning is separate than maintenance.
So this is the only place where your maintenance people's wages appear?
Well, no, cause there's wages at the transfer station.
And those would be maintenance people as well?
Yes, but that's separate, it's a separate
It's a separate-
thing.
Yeah, I understand,
these-
it's a separate budget item.
These wages are for like, mowing, working in the park.
Okay, so
Building
you
work.
allocate a portion of that to the township hall,
Yes.
okay.
That's been in there for, yeah,
It goes, that's all it is the, when they mow and all that stuff, when they work here on the grounds. In
Mhm.
this building or on the grounds here, the
Okay.
transfer site's separate.
Thank you.
Yep, snow blowing.
cemetery separate.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's see, big roads,
I got red on all the old ones.
planning and zoning will be all separated.
okay, we'll look at that.
And transfer site, we didn't put anything in there yet. I'm not comfortable with that yet. Cause the numbers are just crazy.
So we have it,
Well, right, because if you look under transfer state site, it's page 7. Refuge removal, this year to date is only 16,900. I'm sure that's wrong.
And
Recycling is only 1296.
Do we get compensated for our scrap metals and stuff like that?
Metals,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
So if you look on your very first
Revenue.
page in
Revenue.
revenues,
okay,
that's
Just
metal
making sure.
trailer, yes, and
yeah,
that's increased substantially. After we got everything cleaned up, cause there was 2 loads that went out right when we got here, when Jesse cleaned all the stuff that was
yeah, cause
outside.
there's tons of stuff
Yeah,
outside.
so that's increased in the last few months as well. But I'm not comfortable putting any, we got the numbers over here for the amended budget that I did earlier on the side for 24, 25. But I mean, these numbers are not right, and I'm not comfortable. You know,
okay, food for thought, just something across the line. Transfer fee, increased by $5. If that covers our extra dumpsters and stuff during the summer months,
yes,
what about raising it, say, $1 or $2 extra, because from November to January, 6, 7, we could use a couple of extra dumpsters because of the Christmas and the holiday and all the stuff. And that would help cover an extra dumpster or so
the
during
problem
that time.
with, if it is, and this is why it goes to October 1st, is because of snow.
Yeah, that we can.
It's too hard to work around them dumpsters with,
snow,
Okay,
snow
Snow
removal,
plow.
and then you
Yeah,
wanna pay
snow
for the snow
removal.
disposal of
Right.
the snow.
and the snow guy, broke the fence.
yeah, true,
So that's why we
okay,
don't do it in the winter. Cause they used to remove the metal trailer, and for some reason it stayed this year, so. But mostly that's why, is because then we go down to 1 recycle bin instead of 2 on the other, for the cardboard and stuff.
On the transfer, is some of these lines going to?
Yes. Yeah, that's a work in progress as well. Like I said, the ones under, 24, 25 amended budget is
Yeah,
about where we should be. But I didn't put them in for this budget yet, because, like I said, these numbers ain't right.
is there a way are we gonna be able to, cause I know it goes to the, we post it in the paper for the public, but is there a way after our audit, we can have are we gonna have another budget, just to see?
What will happen is after the audit is when we will put in the new chart of accounts, so everything's gonna get merged and changed then.
Okay,
Then we may have to do budget amendments, you don't redo the budget,
no,
you're just amending what needs fixed after the
Okay.
audit and
I
after.
figured we're gonna
Yeah.
amend it then
Yes.
after.
We're gonna have lots of amendments, I'm sure,
Yeah,
but like I said, the numbers they're not in. And I think the transfer site and why these numbers are so far off is because of the bank reconciliations. So until I clear them, they don't get added in to the general ledger to go
Right.
into the budget. So I think that's the problem with those numbers.
yeah,
And I am just starting January, I got all the checks cleared for January, February, March, and April. But I gotta go back now and clear the payroll and stuff, so, in the EFTs, so that's what I'm starting with after we get this done, and I go put these numbers in, so we can get this in the newspaper to have a hearing.
Okay.
Anything else? So the transfer site, like I said, I will work on that. I'll put these numbers in and then it'll have to be changed when I know
Right.
more.
Yeah.
But just,
And the rest is the fire.
yeah,
We
we already
did all
did that,
that.
fire's done.
Fire's all done.
The next one is Park 208. This,
Okay, good, found it.
Park and Recreation 13. $208.
Okay.
I have nothing in there. This is another one that's going to get moved into general.
I was gonna say,
And this is the reason why, we're talking to Cindy, the way we have it set up right now, the park is in its own department. So when it has its own department, the only thing you can budget for is income, revenue. Well, the only thing in parks for revenue is the hall rental. So how do you budget for the park with only $7,000? Not even that, it's usually at an average of about
you
$4,500.
don't know how much hall rentals you're gonna have in here.
Exactly, and that's a tough one, so when I was talking to Cindy, this is one that will be added into general, so it doesn't have to be fed off of revenue.
Okay,
And then the park,
she said we're allowed to do that,
Yeah.
then put it
Yep.
good.
most people don't break it out like this, she said, because of that reason. We have no revenue going in except the hall rental,
Right.
and the hall rental don't cover the snow removal,
Mm-mm.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's why that will happen. See, we have nothing in here for snow removal, but that shouldn't be on here anyway. That goes under building and grounds.
which one, huh?
The snow removal.
Oh,
Snow
yeah,
removal, phone and
cause that's
internet.
building and ground.
You don't have it in the park, phone or internet or any of that.
Yeah, this should, what's the picnic expenditure?
When we used to have picnics.
Okay,
But this year, Bake Light is on.
that's right, you said that you're gonna,
Yep, they're paying for the picnic.
they're doing the picnic, that's nice, how nice of that.
We got, so it used to be Georgia Pacific, in case you guys didn't know,
Yeah.
it's Bake Light now.
It's I know,
Skeeter, when he talked to me, they want to do all of the picnic this year. So we looked in August when, we had an opening on a Saturday, April 9th, and we. August, see, you had March or something, June,
Yeah, June.
August 9th, and I, blocked off the hall and the pavilions, so
Oh, nice,
it'll be August 9th,
you did say something about him, that's nice,
and they're doing
way to go, Skeeter.
complete donations, and here in the next few weeks, they're coming with equipment, to clean up the baseball field and the soccer field, so they'll be playable.
I think
All
we should start
donated.
teams,
Exactly, that's the whole
after we
point,
get it cleaned up next year,
Yep,
township teams even,
exactly right, that's
that'd be
fine.
fun.
yeah,
I think that'd be a lot of
community,
fun.
So most of that isn't even in play, utilities shouldn't be on there, building heat shouldn't be on there.
no,
Maintenance and repairs and improvement are the only two things, but they will be moved, so I'm not going to put anything in that at the moment.
yeah, okay, across that whole thing.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me, because you already get, like you said, if you don't make enough revenue, you gotta come from somewhere else.
Exactly right. 209 is cemetery, township operating under cemetery, I don't know why it's separated. And this is another one that you can't
that's another one of them, because don't we,
How do you know how many
right, and we
lots
put
you're
it,
gonna sell?
and we
Exactly,
put it in the first page as revenue.
exactly. So,
It all goes in revenue on the first page,
and I think it's all gonna be added together and taken care of there too as well.
yeah,
The cemeteries will all be broke down into one. I think it's going in under township as well, the cemeteries, for the same reason, because you can't budget for that. You know, you don't have the money in there to do the road with gravel and stuff to, you know, cause you're not making enough selling lots
right.
to contradict that. So that's another one that we'll be moving and taking care of. Just so you know. State shared revenues on the back.
And we have it in the front too.
Yeah, these are just how they're broke down.
They,
The budget.
that just broke down for the revenues, aren't
And
they?
I'm using the same numbers that's in the amended budget for 2024, cause I'm the one that amended that anyway, but,
Yeah,
I just
don't-
gotta move them over, I didn't yet. I've been
'Cause
on
it's
the
already
audit,
in the
not on the
revenues.
budget. So that's all that is, the, liquor enforcement all comes from the state anyway, they give us the check. It's just basically in and out. 218 allowance for cashbacks,
What did you say?
218
What's
On
two
page-
12? On the last page, like the transfers,
liquor.
there's nothing there.
No, that's transfers in and out appropriations. I don't know why they use that. We used to have the unallocated, but the auditor, the previous auditor said we had to do, instead of doing that, we had to do transfer in and transfer out.
Okay,
So that's why they're in there, but there's no activity, they never used it. If you look, there's activity down here, and I don't even know why it would be down there. It says function
yeah, I
unclassified.
don't,
I
yeah,
don't have no idea what those are.
okay,
So that was another one that was left blank, cause in here, they have 69,000 in activity for allowance for chargeback. I don't have no idea what that is. Judgment special assessment, that has ended on the
Yeah.
second line. So that's all done. And, for you guys' information, on the phone with Planet Moran this week. We went through the pension judgment. She said we only owed 5,100. That was our balance last year, and we paid them 47,000.
So they owe us?
By the way it looks from Planet Moran, we overpaid that by $42,000 we'll get back out of that. Cause they have the whole breakdown of it,
Okay.
the whole 10 years, and according to their figures, we should have only paid 5,000. Cause she said that should be coming up, I said, no, it was paid. We did that in February when they sent us the final. When they sent us the final from the bank, it said 47. But it's almost the same exact amount that they paid last year, that it don't look like it went anywhere. Because I found it in bank reconciliations and it never went through. So I'm thinking, we paid last year's
In February.
exactly what I think. So that's some research I have to do. Just so you know. But it's done and over with, whether, and she says they owe us, so. And all the rest of these are just your utility authority and crap, but there's nothing in.
Well, that don't make any sense.
No,
I mean, if they, she says we still owe 5,000,
no, she said we only owed 5,000.
but if we can't find the check from last year that was due for 47,000.
Right, that's what I'm thinking is what happened, is that we paid last year's, but she said it was the balance. So did we pay the 5,000 with that 47, you know, was that included in it?
Like you're saying, the previous check should have been 47,000, but it was never got cashed or
It never went through,
never went through.
so
Okay,
that's another, I don't know. Planet Moran blew my mind when we talked about it this week. She said it should have been only 5,100 or something for the payoff. But they sent us the payoff from the bank, and it was the 47, whatever it
Yeah.
was. 46,011 or something. So I gotta look into that more. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, related to page number 3. And I have an accounting background, so I'm asking this question based on that. You had said earlier that you plan to consolidate both the computer hardware and the computer program/software accounts into one account, is that correct?
Yes.
I believe you depreciate your computer hardware, and that's why your hardware is in a separate account. Because when you go to depreciate it at the end of the year,
Right.
it's already broken out. So typically, in typical accounting practices, anything that's depreciable is always put into a separate
Separate.
account. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I were you, I would consider keeping your hardware
Hardware
separate
line.
for that reason.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a good, I didn't know that. I know they depreciate, but. Anything else? Anybody? Public comment out there? Pat, any other questions?
Nope.
So, I'll get these numbers put in. I will have all the rest of them we have to vote on, but I'll also put those numbers in. Are you all good with that? The way it sets, can I put it in the paper for public review?
Give me just a second.
once we get the transfers, site figured out, I would imagine that yes,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Are you ready for it? 'Cause it has to be in the paper and I'll review for 15 days prior to a public hearing. So we're going to have a special meeting at the end of June to actually pass it.
Right, yes.
Because we have to do that 15 days out before the public hearing, and I'm not passing it the same day as a public hearing.
Yeah.
I refuse. And Steve will be gone, what, 10 days or something, 2
I'll
weeks
be
in the
back,
middle?
yeah, 14th through 15th, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the June meeting, we will vote on the changes to pass them to finalize the budget. Good? Alright, and I'll get with you guys and let you know when I get the transfer site numbers done, cause right now I'm just starting into January, like I said, to finish the bank reconciliation, so I'm getting closer. But the numbers change every day. And like yesterday, we had a pile from Planet Moran that we had to change. They had 2 sections and I get those to Jill to call BSNA, cause BSNA had to make those changes. Well, while on the phone with BSNA, Jill come and got me, cause she was questioning what they were saying. So when I got in there, the way that it come back from Planet Moran, it would have been ass backwards. And he wasn't comfortable doing it, so I had to we hung up from him, and I had to go back and call, the auditors and ask the auditors, because it come from Planet Moran. And so the auditor says, well, she's right and he's right, but you gotta merge. So what happened is the, activity line, your 214 is investment. You have to have it due to, not due from. So all the descriptions were wrong and where they were coming out of. So they had to flip them, but they also had to change the descriptions from due to due from, and due from to due to. So they were both backwards. So they were merging those yesterday, and that's why my numbers were changing, and I had to quit because everybody was in there changing numbers, so.
And this could still change after the audit.
Yes, it's going to change after the audit. We'll have to do adjustments, but you're working on a moving budget. I
Right.
can.
Yeah.
It's the best I can do with what we got in front of us. I think we did a good job. I appreciate everybody's effort and working on it. Great job. Now get these numbers in today. I'm not doing these first, and then, I will be in worst case scenario on Monday to finish all the bank reconciliations, so I can get that up and running and done as well. Because they're gonna do the, F-65 for the year too, while they're here doing the audit, which is, you have to have in every year. And then audits every 2 years, but, I requested, that we have them every year for the next couple, until all of this balances out and gets fixed. Just like, the auditor was having issues with the 55,000 we had to pay in the back quarterly taxes. And then we're for 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Right.
But it come out of this year.
Right.
So how, they have to break it out,
Into each individual year.
right, cause
Yeah.
it shouldn't come out of this year's budget.
Yeah.
So that's another big mess that we have, they'll be working on.
Well, that and the pension.
Exactly right.
Those three bigger things.
Exactly right, so we have issues.
Yeah.
So they will be here for the whole week of June 9th. There will be several of them. We've been sending them stuff every day. We've got a share file account where we upload everything into. So we've been working our butts off. Yesterday, I think all three of us were on the phone with somebody different, putting
Yeah.
stuff in. And then, you know, you get mad at some of the stuff they do, like when they wanted them things changed, and I knew they were asked backwards, and I'm like, ay, 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 ay. So anyway, that got straightened out, and it was a little bit of both, so I just wanted you all up to date on where we're at in that. It's a big job, big process, but we're finally coming to the end of it. And I appreciate everybody's hard work and dedication. So, hearing nothing, I will make a motion to adjourn at 11:03.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.